Take it slow, it's not about speed. It might not be much room, but I feel like if that booth were to kind of skid again, like it did, this is not going good. Well, we're back here, guys, again on the hood, and I left you off in the last video feeling pretty good about the way it looked. I mean, it came out beautiful, it looked beautiful, nice and shiny, but then it kind of got worse towards the end, but I didn't really get to show you what it really looks like now, and guys, it's bad. So I really want to show you what we're going to be doing today to try to fix this, but you can see that it's got all the issues of any paint job that you could possibly not want. You got fish eyes, you got dirt, you got excessive shrinkage. I really want to show you how bad it is and get it on camera. In this area, if we see, oh, there you go. You see all that? That is, oh, I'm kind of embarrassed, but hey, if I cannot be humble enough to show you the issues that we're having, this is a real paint channel in regards to real problems you're gonna have in your backyard. And I'm gonna show you today how I'm going to attempt to fix it. You see, I already did a little sample sanding there, but basically it's everywhere. The good thing is the color looks great, so we don't have to get into the color. You can see a loss of dieback or a loss of shine here, over in here, some pinching. So many things can contribute to this. In this area, it's all pinched up. And it's not the clear coat, guys. It might possibly be the application. And what I mean by that is when I switched over to the 1.0 tip, well, it put it on really wet, but too much of that clear coat, when you have too much clear coat in a short amount of time or just over applying product, guess what, guys? It's gonna die back. Getting used to the turbine, we use the 1.0. So today, what we're gonna be doing is sanding it down, and we're going to be flow coating it, and that's the best possible way to get the cleanest, nicest finish. I'm going to show you how to do that now, and we're going to hope for the best. Now, without this Milwaukee sander, I'd be lost because I can basically sand anywhere. We're going to be using a 400 grit here to really cut the surface down. And the reason why we want to cut the surface down is we want to flatten it as much as possible so we don't see any more of these divots. Let me show you what that looks like. So if we wipe this off, we can see that there are still some divots here. Now, they aren't really too bad. Clear coat might fill those in. If we get a closer look, we can see them here. They're really not that bad. They're kind of like fish eyes, but they're not really too deep because a fish eye would have much more of a crater. I really do feel possibly the fish eyes are because maybe I didn't get it clean enough. So we're going to change that method up today. So this is a piece of dirt. See how it's high? These would be fish eyes. In all honesty, this isn't that bad. I almost would probably leave it because I don't want to burn through. If we burn through to the surface of the base, then we have to reapply all of the base coat. So we don't want to do that. Let me show you a worse area. Now, this side was really bad when I showed you guys earlier. See all that? So all we're going to do... So all we did there is give it a little bit of a sand, and we can see that these are much more aggressive. These might be a little bit more difficult to fill in with clear coat, in all honesty. So we're going to focus a little bit more time on getting these more flat. We know that we got a lot of clear on here because we did load it on with that 1.0 tip out of the turbine. So we'll focus a little more energy and time on here. But for anything else, basically, all we're going to have to do is sand it down, the whole thing with 400 grit, and then we're going to go ahead with a 600 grit. If we just take a moment break here and just assess what's going on. So we're not going to remove them completely. We can't, because if we do, we're going to go down to the base. If you go down to the base in one of them only, what's going to end up happening, you're going to have to rebase. And if you get base in any of these little divots, it's going to be highlighted like a dark pit. It's going to be dark pits everywhere. But if the clear goes into it, it will flow over it because it doesn't have any color in it, doesn't have any pigment in it, right? So the clear can go over this and you won't see it as long as you don't have any other contamination. See here, they're bigger, and over in this area we've been working on them, but over here they're bigger. This is dirt, this is dirt, this is dirt. And you get a really clean finish if you do clear on clear because there's nothing in between. But we just got to keep on working on 400, flattening it out. And I think the DA is probably the best way to do that. It will level it off the most efficient, and you can see what you're doing. If you're water sanding this, you're not going to be able to see what you're doing too much because the water will just fill it in. I feel like generally the fisheyes are worse from kind of over this way, and over this way it's not as bad, but the whole hood just needs a good sanding. Here it is, guys, all in 400. Now we can still see, like I said, a couple little small divots here and there, but we're gonna go ahead and leave those alone. If I was at Acura, what I would be doing is I would sand this down with 320. I'd reprime the whole thing, smooth it out if it was for a customer. This is a job for one of my friends. It's a backyard job, and we wanna see what's the best possible way to fix our problems and how we can fix them for you guys. So we're gonna go ahead and sand and re-clear and see how that works out. Now, you guys can battle this out in the comment section, but what is a flow coat to you? Well, a true flow coat, from what I've heard, is blocking it out with 400 grit, really flat, like on a restoration type of job. And then flow coat really only is clear on clear. So if you had to put some color somewhere, that's not technically a flow coat. Flow coat is clear on clear. So what we're going to be doing here is a 600 grit over, just kind of refine it. But as far as I know, from what I've been told and what I've seen, is flow coat 400. Some people might 600 at flow coat. It's up to you. There's no real wrong or right answer, but what ends up happening with the flow coat is it's just clear on clear, so it's a much smoother finish. What we'll do here now is we'll go over this with 600 completely. You can see it's nice and scuffed up, so we're not going to have any issues of peeling or anything like that. And there was a lot of clear on here from that 1.0 tip from the turbine system. So let's go ahead with the 600 grit, and then we'll get this all washed up. We'll use a greaser and a scuff pad, get it all washed up, let it dry, and then we'll put it back into the booth. We're going to have the booth underneath today because it's a little bit cloudy-ish. So it's a beautiful day to paint, actually. Not hot at all, but let's go ahead and get that all wrapped up. Oh, got it all cleaned up. We used a degreaser. I'm thinking maybe the surface was not completely clean before we painted it, but I'm liking what we're seeing here. And basically what we're trying to do, guys, is get rid of one problem without creating another. So if we go through the base or the clear coat, we're gonna have to reapply base. So this was probably like a little bit of like bug's leg or something. And if we sand that all the way through or try to get it out, we're gonna have to put base back over it. So that's going to stay. But what we're really trying to focus on is getting a nice smooth finish. As smooth as we can. I don't mind some dirt, honestly, but we want to get this as smooth as possible. And that's kind of what we got going on here. We can see that for the most part, all of those fish eyes are leveled off with the 400 and then the 600. So we're just going to have clear on clear. You can see just a little bit of them here, but we're going to try some techniques in the booth. Maybe that can help us out with that. And let's go ahead and get this thing loaded up, and let's see if we can get this thing better. That's what we're looking for, better. We're here in the booth now in an effort to really eliminate any issues or contamination. I got the same exact cleaners I'm using at work. The water-based cleaner, I'm doing it the same exact way. I paint every single job back at the body shop, and we're gonna see maybe this was an issue. I can tell you something, if I get fish eyes out of this job, then I know that it is this inflatable paint booth that I'm having issues with, because I have gotten fish eyes before in this same booth since it's been brand spanking new. And a lot of you guys have made comments about that, how it could be the release agents within the actual plastic of the booth. And I'm gonna be really honest, I really haven't had too many successful paint jobs in an inflatable booth before. The one thing I like about them is they keep bugs and dirt, for the most part, off of the paint job. But and also it keeps overspray contained and filtered properly. But other than that, it's giving me a lot of issues. But we're gonna go ahead and do the same exact thing we do at work. And other than the turbine and the paint booth is the only difference here. And we'll see if we have any different results. All right, I'm all ready to go. Gonna go ahead and tack rag, get any last debris off the panel. And it's a little sketchy, a little windy. The booth is a little bit wobbly. But we're gonna see what happens here. We changed two things once again. We changed the, actually three things. We changed the way we cleaned it, okay? We changed the fluid tip. And one more thing, we changed in the PSI and the turbine. I had to run around really high, like around 8, 9. I talked to a couple people that spray this turbine, 6.5. Take it slow, it's not about speed. This is not good. This is not good. The things I do for YouTube. Jesus, this is not good. But I got an idea. All right, that was interesting. But I added a strap right here to this pillar. A little crosswind took this whole booth sideways. I think I got more room doing it, turning it this way. It might not be much room, but I feel like if that booth were to kind of skid again, like it did, this is not going good. See the bottom, I'm gonna have to tie the bottom down. This is a windy day today, and I'm inside kinda. This is a really, and I don't like to do it in the garage because overspray gets everywhere. Oh, this sucks. All right, got a little more room that way. I need to tie down that bottom there somehow. All right, I went and tied up the bottom. I'm telling you guys, I'm not feeling good about this. I'm not feeling good about this. I really take for granted a day that does not have any breeze in it, because this thing is moving. This thing is moving too much for my comfort level right now, especially after painting this twice already. But whatever, this is live, so let's roll. All right, let me tell you guys something. This is not fun. This is not ideal. This looks way better though. But I don't know if it's gonna stay like this. You see the dirt for the most part, it's all kind of floated over. If it stays just like this, or similar to this, I'm gonna be really happy. Because this result is beautiful. I mean, it really is. It came out really good, but The thing is getting it to dry and look this good. We have the weather on our side today. It's nice and cool, so we're not gonna have to worry about too much heat coming on here and making it dry from the top before it cures from the bottom. So I want to show you the peel. It's got that turbine peel. You know, it's kind of chunky. It's smooth, but it's kind of chunky. It's got that turbine peel, I like to call it. It's different from your regular spray gun, I'll tell you that much. It's a different type of texture, but if you go over the top of it, it's flat. The sides, you might catch a little bit of that texture. This side's a little bit better, but I think most of you guys would be happy with this if it dries just like this. Honestly, I'll be happy if it dries like this. So what better thing to do right now than let's eat some Chinese food and see what it looks like in an hour or so.
Here, open.
All right, this is just a few hours after. It held a gloss, I'll say that much. There is some dirt in it. Actually, there's a lot of dirt in it, but I'm happy to say there are no fisheyes that I can see. The fisheyes have been completely filled in, and we don't have any new fisheyes. There is a run on this side right here, and there is a run right here. You can see there, that is a run that we will have to get out in the next video. But these are the types of things that a beginner is going to go through. I consider myself right now a beginner because this is all new to me, the turbine system. There will be videos using the compressor back again in this booth. The turbine does work well, but there is a big learning curve to get these things to work really well. But I mean, I know you guys are looking at this right now and you're saying, Brian, really? This thing looks beautiful. Yeah, but I'm used to finishes that we get out of the booth that are like deliverable, you know, and that's it. But this will make for a good video for sanding and polishing to show you there is stuff everywhere again, but it's not as big and it's not as deep as before. So most of you guys will be happy with this, honestly. Just to pop it back onto your truck, you'd be good, and you go down the road. I like to take things a little bit further, so stay tuned to the video series where we'll take this a little further. We'll give it a nice little sanding. We'll show you how to remove these guys over in here. We'll get them out as good as we can, and then we'll polish it and get it back onto the truck. And there it goes, coming down. I tell you guys, don't overthink it. It's just paint, and there's a reason why, guys. If things don't go right, it's no big deal. Come back in a couple of days like we did here, sand it down. We didn't get perfect results, but we got much better results, and I think a lot of you guys might be happy with that. So in this case, guys, this is Brian from Paint Side reminding you, don't overthink it. It's just paint. I'll see you guys in the next episode.